Companies are lining up and making sure they hire for new drone operators. So hey, if you're a hobbyist, you just got a job. Now that we've covered the basics of drones, let's go to a real expert. I would like to introduce you to Gerard of I Am Aerial. How does a drone work?
Surprisingly, the technology of drones is a lot like cell phones. Basically, cell phones have a GPS. They have what they call an IMU, which tells you its orientation. They have a compass. So basically, these are the same kind of things that you find in a drone. A GPS internally, you'll have a compass, exactly. Here you'll have a place where you can attach your camera. So really, the technology is very similar to a cell phone.
When I'm looking at this is a battery, right?
Yep.
So what makes this so different than the average Duracell D or AA battery you'd buy at Target?
First of all, it's a lithium polymer battery, and it's very light and it's very high voltage. So it gives these guys a lot of thrust and gets them up in the air and flying for a good amount of time.
Amazon is looking at hiring ex-military personnel to fly drones and deliver packages to their customers. How do you feel about that, and what are some problems there?
Well, I think it's a really neat concept. I think a lot of things need to be figured out as far as allowing these drones to travel through cities and buildings, and just being very careful and mindful of where these things go, especially when you lose sight of them. And that's a big thing with flying drones, that you always want to have line of sight.
What happens when a drone gets out of control? Like, take this one article, for example. Drone owner located after device lands in family's backyard. There's some obvious concerns about privacy there.
Sure. Yeah, and that's a very unfortunate case, and it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes if the battery runs out or there's some pilot error, the drone will fly away. And fortunately, with a lot of these systems, it's built in what they call return to home. So if, for example, with this remote, if I just power it off, the drone knows to automatically come back to the point where I launched it from, because it's locked in by the GPS.
The government has started to put kill switches into these drones to where it's in the firmware to restrict drone usage in certain areas. If I was flying this drone near the White House or any other top secret government area, it would immediately fall out of the sky or just return to home.
The most important thing, I think it's a safety issue. And for example, if you try to fly these drones within 5 miles of an airport, you can literally be flying and it's almost like it hits a brick wall and it will just not go into that airspace. And it's designed for a reason, right? We don't want drones in the airspace of planes and all that kind of stuff.
But the problem with that is that when we come out with, like, how Google's always talking about smart cars and smart planes that will self-drive.
Right.
The problem is, what would happen if the firmware was in those as well? And one day, if it was in a computer chip that could be implanted into humans. So there's concerns there about
Sure.
the government regulating everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gerard, it was great to have you here.
Thank you, Rex. Appreciate it.
In this chilling commercial put out by the Pennsylvania Tax Committee, they brag about how they might use drones to track us and spy on us. They claim that they would only use it on tax cheats, but what if you were a government dissident?
It's easy. Pay online by June 18th, and we'll skip your penalty and take half off your interest. Because, Tom, we do know who you are.
Now that we're done with consumer drones, it's time to move on to military and law enforcement drones. So these drones go from tiny nano spy drones that they're using in Iraq to track criminals to the giant Reaper drones, which can fire 4 Hellfire missiles raining down on villages. Let's go through a few Infowars.com articles about the drone threat today. U.S. drone kills 4 Al-Qaeda suspects, not confirmed, in Yemen. Says here, a U.S. drone killed 4 suspected Al-Qaeda militants in the northeast Yemen on Monday morning, officials and tribesmen said. I wonder how many other people got hurt by the shrapnel in the blast, because this was in a village. This was not out in the middle of nowhere. Now let's look at the law enforcement side of things. Riot control drone to shoot pepper spray bullets at protesters. How nice. For decades now, Riot control has always been a government must-have. There are a lot of these riot-control drones, and I want to go to another one. A DHS-funded taser drone that was launched right here in Texas. Montgomery County in Texas spent $250,000 on a taser drone that can follow a suspect and shoot 4 barbed electrodes that can be shot at a distance of 100 feet, delivering neuromuscular incapacitation to the victim. I think that this is a very proactive way to steal our rights. Well, we've learned a lot about drones today, but that's not all. Go online and be active and find more knowledge. Infowars.com isn't a bad place to start either. So, have fun. I'm Rex Jones, reporting for Infowars.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
We love that you're passionate about GCN. And whether you're a listener, a business owner, or a radio industry professional, we've redesigned the new GCN newsletter to keep you in the know. Get updates on your favorite GCN shows and hosts. Go to GCNlive.com and click on the banner in the upper left corner. Just for signing up, you're automatically entered for monthly giveaways. Start receiving your newsletter today. The future of talk radio. GCN.
Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Hey, Boomer! I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey clean water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit GoBerkey.com.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Katie Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in studio. We've had Alex joining us on the road. We're going to go to your calls in just a moment. We just heard that special report from Alex's son, Rex Jones. That's, parents, that's a great way to get your kids going on things that are going to matter for their life. Let them pursue their interests. We tend to overprotect our children, especially today, and say, well, you've got to wait until you're a certain age to do this or do that. I'm not a big fan of that kind of approach to parenting. A lot of homeschoolers know that kids can do a lot more than we give them credit for. Great report from Rex about drones. And, of course, that's a burgeoning industry that the FAA is moving to shut down. Finding people for flying a 5-pound styrofoam plane, fining them $10,000, mandating that you have to have commercially trained pilots to fly these drones, as well as watchers. They're going to load that up with regulations to try to take that over, just like the FCC is trying to take over the internet, just like the FTC is trying to take over the internet. Got the FAA, the FCC, the FTC. If we don't get these guys under control, we are truly going to be effed completely. That's what we've got to stop down these burgeoning bureaucracies. But let's go to your calls right now. We've got Shelley. We're also going to try to go to Chad, Todd, Aaron, Dan. We'll go into overdrive to try to get everybody. Appreciate you holding. Let's go to Shelley in Tennessee. Shelley?
Hey. You know, I just happened to catch the Knoxville News Sentinel, the local newspaper here, and there was an attempted entry into the Y-12 National Complex by a Arabic guy. His last name was Malakar.
What kind of a complex is that?
It's the Y-12 National Security Complex, and they store stuff there. Not really sure. I don't have a clearance, so I wouldn't know. But
well, it's interesting. There's a lot of these stories that pick up locally that don't go national, and we don't realize how close we are, not even to people breaking into a secure facility and doing something malicious, but just out of even, let's say, sheer incompetence, if that's what's going on in the story that we've been following in Tulane at the Primate Center, where this very dangerous bacteria they brought into the country to weaponize, somehow it got out of their biosafety lab, level 3 lab, into the outdoor cages, which are right next door to wetlands, a neighborhood, a school. I mean, you know, how did that happen? They still don't know. They sent back another crew to try to investigate how that breach occurred and if it's escaped beyond that area. What happened in Tennessee, though? What did the local news say about that? Did he get in?
No, of course he didn't. But you know, just the fact that he even attempted, and he just walks in to the visitor center, and he went through a back door, and it was like a Friday evening, about 6:30, I guess, and somebody caught up to him and, you know, probably said, hey, what are you doing? And he demanded a tour, and of course, they told him to go pound sand, so he left there, and they must have called the police. And he left there and he went right down the road, because we have like 3 complexes here that are ran by the Department of Energy. And so he went right down the road to the Oak Ridge National Lab. And he drove up to the front gate. And of course, you know, it's secured also. You know, you have to have a badge to get in. And, you know, security denied him access there. And he demanded a tour to get into there. And that's when the cops picked him up. But he was... he had a California driver's license, which was suspended, and his vehicle was registered in Texas. So,
yeah, you can probably just walk across the border. We've got open borders, so if we've got open borders, it's going to be pretty hard to try to catch anybody that's coming in. But, you know, the interesting thing about the open borders is they're not open if you're flying in or if you're trying to get out. And when we look at the way they scrutinize people traveling by air travel and the way they keep the other borders completely open, that should give us a clue that the real danger is to close those borders. We need to stop the incentives that are pulling people in. We'll be right back with more of your calls. Stay with us.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Sold out for weeks due to the difficult and extensive proprietary process behind its creation, the exclusive InfoWars Life Secret 12 formulation is now back in stock. This ultra-clean vitamin B12 nutraceutical has been carefully crafted and developed over the last 2 years and is based on cellular science of how your body actively absorbs essential nutrients. Most forms of vitamin B12 are highly processed and synthetic and could not be properly absorbed by the body. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12, methylcobalamin, the same kind used in B12 injections, and adenosylcobalamin, the most bioactive form that has been created with our proprietary process. Secret 12 is taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Discover the secret. Secret 12. Supplies of Secret 12 are very limited. Secure yours today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.